guinea pig!
Hi, I'm Alyne. Welcome to my kitchen.
No.
And y'all, today I'm making something that I really love, but I can't think of a time other than as a child that I've had one that I really liked, and that is spice cake. I had spice cake when I was a child, and it was homemade, and it was so good. And then I found the boxed spice cakes. It's not the same. I could never find the exact flavor. Well, I found a recipe for a homemade spice cake, and the actual name of it, they call it Sick Day Spice Cake. I'm just calling it spice cake because that's what it is, a spice cake. Now, you want to take a 9x13 metal pan. It can be a cake pan, baking pan, whatever. You want to butter the bottom of it and put parchment paper in it for about 2 inches over the long sides. Okay?
She buttered its butt.
Butter it underneath and put you some parchment paper in it. Set your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And now we'll go over the ingredients of what we need. Okay? It calls for 3/4 cup of butter. That would be 1.5 sticks of butter at room temperature, and I've got that here. I have 2.5 cups of cake flour, which has been sifted. Now, this is homemade cake flour. It is the all-purpose flour and the cornstarch mixed. If you are wanting to know how to do that, it is 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour to 1/4 cup of cornstarch. So what I did was made up 3 cups, and I just measured out a 1/2 cup, so it gives me 2.5 cups, which is what I need. Okay, it calls for, right here, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. Okay, next I have a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/8 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and in here I have 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and over here I have a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So it calls for 1.5 teaspoons ground cinnamon divided. 1 teaspoon and a 1/2 teaspoon. Okay? Next I have 1 cup of granulated sugar, a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 2 large eggs at room temperature. I have a teaspoon of vanilla extract, I think I got too much milk. This is 1 1/4. I think I've got 1 1/2. If that's 1 1/2, use that other thing and measure 1 1/4.
It's a little over 1 1/2.
Well, measure me out 1 1/4, please. I read this wrong, y'all. That just goes to show that as you're going through, double check what you do.
Measure out 1 1/4.
And that other measuring cup over there for 1 1/4.
This one?
Yes, the big cup. Yes. It calls for 1 1/4 cups of buttermilk plus 3 tablespoons of buttermilk at room temperature.
How about I just pour this down until it says 1 1/4?
However you want to do it, Piggy. To me, it would just be easier to pour 1 1/4 than that one big one. Then it calls for 1 cup of powdered sugar sifted. Okay? And as we heard, my timer went off, or my,
Well, that got it?
yeah.
You check it, make sure. Pour this rest of this back in the thing? Or
Yeah, it'll be fine. Y'all, I'm trying to get this, there we go.
Trying not to waste it, folks. Trying not to waste it.
Okay. Now, first thing it says to do is to mix together, or whisk together, whatever, the, set that over to the side, the cake flour, the baking soda, the baking powder, and the kosher salt, along with the cloves, cinnamon, and black pepper. I'm just going to mix that together
Mixy.
with my spatula thingy there.
Get me some hot water going and wash these dishes.
And I'm going to set these right here off to the side over here because that will be used later.
Okay, well I got it centered to where everything's in the frame there.
That's fine. Alright. Now I'm going to set this off to the side. And then it says chew. If I can get my recipe going, y'all. I've got a little over 2 pages on my recipe here. So, get all this going. I apologize for it taking so long and being disorganized. And it's just hot.
Those of y'all that might still be in school, this is why it's so important to learn to do word problems really well.
Do word problems and learn fractions. Okay. Now, I've got my electric hand mixer here. We're going to mix on medium-high speed. It says beat the granulated sugar, the brown sugar, and the softened butter in a large mixing bowl until light and fluffy. It says about 3 minutes. So what we'll do is I'm going to start mixing. You want to turn me on over there, Piggy? So turn me on.
I thought I already had to turn on.
There we go.
That's part of why you married me.
There we go. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mix this, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do so that way I can let Piggy put this on time lapse, because this is going to take about 10, 12, 14 minutes all total. I'm
I know you certainly didn't marry me for money.
I'm going to beat this for 3 minutes, and after that it says, where am I at up here? Light and fluffy, about 3 minutes. Add eggs one at a time, so you'll see me add the 2 eggs one at a time. Mixing and beating to combine, and I'll scrape down the sides in between each one. Then I'll add the vanilla flavoring and beat for about 10-20 seconds. On there it'll be like 1.
If that.
Then reduce the speed to low and gradually beat in the dry ingredients and the alternating with the buttermilk, okay? And that's going to take about 10 to 12 minutes or so. And once I get all this incorporated here, we'll come back and we'll finish out the rest of it. Okay,
Alright.
so let me set a timer. Well, I ain't worried about a timer because I don't know.
It's 10, 12 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's going to take about 12, 14 minutes total.
Let me put 14.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'll let you get that set on
It
there.
started. Let
Yeah.
me get you switched up.
Alright, yeah. We got it all mixed together. It took less than 14 minutes. It took probably about maybe 9 all total.
Mama Linda.
Okay, now it says to take and let's see. Scrape down the sides of the bowl as needed, which I've already done that. Then scrape batter into the prepared baking pan and smooth the surface. Now again, I buttered the bottom and part of the sides of the pan. I've got parchment paper, going in the pan with an overhang of about 2 inches on each side, on the long sides. Okay? I don't know if any of y'all have ever had spice cake before, but it's one of my all-time favorites. And the thing about spice cake is you can make it with this glaze like I'm going to put on it once it's done, or you can make a cream cheese frosting to go on it, like you would for a carrot cake or just about any other kind of really good cake. But I'm going to try the glaze that it says to use with it. And if I don't like that glaze, then I will, next time I make this, use a cream cheese frosting.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be good.
So what do you think of the batter so far, Piggy?
Yum.
Got a good flavor, okay. That's all I need to know.
It tastes like spice cake.
I love spice cake, I do. It just, like I said, ever since I was a kid, it's been my all-time favorite. And I've never really had a recipe for one, except for Duncan Hines or what's some of my mother's store brand or Pillsbury or whoever makes spice cakes. But they just never taste like that first one that I had.
That version you had was homemade.
It was homemade. I finally figured that out. And after talking to the person whose house I was at when I ate it, and they told me, oh, I said, that was homemade. Mama made it homemade. Well, of course it was. All the good stuff is homemade, y'all.
That's it.
At least that's what I have found out in life. All the really good stuff is homemade. And that's not to say that you can't buy some prepackaged or pre-made stuff that's not good, because you can.
Well, it's pretty good. You can get it prepackaged. You ain't got the time to sit there and make homemade, but you can make something up real quick and prepackaged and still taste pretty good. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Time constraints. But if you got the time,
If you've got the time, it's well worth it to do it. Okay, y'all.
I hear a Harley out there.
I hear something. I don't know what it is.
Might be a couple of them.
Might be.
We have bikers and cyclists and all that come up and down through here all the time.
There you go, Piggy. Alright, now this says to bake the cake until golden and toothpick test comes out clean from the center. And it says bake for 30 to 35 minutes in a 350 degree oven.
3 feet.
And then once we do that, we will come back and I will tell you what we do from after that. Now, I had that sitting on that because I wanted it to be a flat surface. Now I've got that one there. Okay, so 30 to 35 minutes. And we'll see on about 30 minutes.
All right, here we go.
30, I'm going to take this out of the oven. It cooked for the 25 minutes, or 30, excuse me, for the 30 minutes. Now it says to take it out and put it on a wire rack. Y'all, I know that's done because that top cracked. But that, oh man, the smell has been driving me crazy.
Duh.
Now it says to let it cool on the rack in the pan for 20 minutes. And after it cools for 20 minutes, you take it out of the pan and you put it on a cutting board. Okay? So we're going to let this sit here and cool for 20 minutes. I know. It's going to be the longest 20 minutes of my life. And then, once we put it on the cutting board, it's got to cool for another 30 minutes. Again, the longest 30 minutes of my life. But, it's got to be done, y'all. So we'll
So
see
for
ya.
the next hour plus, it's going to be real hard.
Yeah. So we will come back when we get ready to put this on the cutting board and go from there.
All right. All right.
Okay. Now this comes the next part. We've let it sit for right around 20 minutes. It's cooled off some. Now we move it over to the cutting board. And y'all can see it's got a crack down the middle, but that's okay. I don't mind cracks.
Well, don't weigh out.
I don't mind cracks. That just means it's good and done, y'all. Okay, let's see what it says. This says place parchment paper, or using parchment paper. Lift cake from pan, transfer to cutting board. Let cool completely about 30 minutes. Then we'll see what we got to do after that, y'all. Go ahead and check that out.
All right.
Alright.
Is that it for this round?
Almost. Let's see. It says whisk powdered sugar and remaining 3 tablespoons of buttermilk and ½ teaspoon of cinnamon in a medium bowl until smooth. This says drizzle glaze over cake, cut cake into pieces. So, after this sets for 30 minutes, we will drizzle the glaze. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mix up the glaze and just let it sit. So I'm going to mix the cinnamon. That way when I get ready to drizzle it over this cake and do a taste test, it's already ready for the taste test.
That'd be one way to do it.
That's it. Alright, we're going to do that.
Gimme.
We're just going to whisk this together. What I like about this cake, y'all, is it's got probably 3 of my favorite flavors in it. Cinnamon, cloves, and vanilla. Alright. Now you can see that my glaze is smooth. Oh yeah. And it's that brown color because of the cinnamon.
I shouldn't have to wash that, should I?
No. So this right here will sit for 30 minutes. We'll be back in 30 minutes. We put the glaze on the cake. And after we do the glaze, like I said, that looks good right there. It smells good. I'm sorry, Piggy. I can't tell which way that thing goes. But we'll be back in about 30 minutes to put this on the cake and eat the cake.
Let them eat the cake.
Okay, y'all. Cake is cool. And I know it's cool completely because I don't know about y'all, but we got kitty cats.
They come in and out.
They come in and out, so I had to put it in the refrigerator. It's not completely cold, but it is cool enough completely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drizzle the glaze over this. Now I did take the parchment paper out from underneath the cake when before I got set up here. You see I am drizzling it.
Drizzle. Oh, shizzle.
I want to I'm just going to spread some of this on here, y'all, because, yeah, it might need to be drizzled. It's like a glaze, but I want to make sure it's all got some of that goodie on it.
Well, yeah.
What is a cake without good stuff?
Right. Look like you made more than you needed. That's all right.
That's okay. It's supposed to.
It'll soak it up and we'll eat it.
That's it. That's what I'm sitting here thinking. And once it goes back in the refrigerator,
Fridge.
Yeah. It will harden up a little bit, as most glazes do. Oh yeah. I'm gonna give that to Piggy. I'm gonna let him get me a picture of that. Let me wipe the table up.
Darn it, just when I was gonna run my finger in that bowl.
You better watch out behind you, Piggy.
I know, I heard him.
Is that great?
It's great. I got fancy to go out. I had to put her out.
He's the only one I hadn't seen today. No. It's worse than dealing with a 2-year-old.
Okay.
But,
You'll probably have 2 pictures on there.
okay.
I kept seeing that space for that handle.
Oh,
I kept thinking there was something on the screen here or something. I couldn't figure out what it was. Oh, okay. Never mind.
All right. Now comes the fun part.
Piggy was flipping out there a little bit, folks. And it is on you. But y'all know what that means. Y'all know what's coming. Oh yeah.
There you go. I can do that one. Oh, I need a fork. Well, I had 3 forks. I don't need but 1 fork, Piggy. You need 2?
I thought I only grabbed 2.
Oops, yeah. That's called.
She tried to sneak 2 of them there, folks.
I was trying to sneak a whole piece of cake, obviously, because, oh, y'all, that icing tastes good.
It does.
Oh, wow. It's got a nice, spicy flavor to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now I get to try the cake. I've tried the icing, y'all. Let's try this cake. Oh, look how moist that is. And how, oh, man. That's not a very dense cake at all. Oh, wow. Light and fluffy.
Light and fluffy. It ain't scruffy. Gotta be quiet, give her a moment there, folks.
The glaze is great, don't get me wrong. The cake is amazing.
It is.
But the next time I make it, I'm going to make some cream cheese frosting to put on it and then put the glaze on top of the cream cheese frosting.
Oh man, that'll be great.
Yeah. That's going to be the
Talk
kicker.
about decadent.
I'm going to do the cream cheese frosting on top of the spice cake with the glaze on top of the cream cheese frosting.
That's next time, folks.
That's the next time I make it. As it is, this cake is amazing. I'm used to a really dense spice cake when I eat one. This is so light, so fluffy. It's not really moist, it's just light and fluffy, airy, I guess I want to say. Not moist,
It's not
but airy.
thick like a brownie, it's fluffy like a cake should be.
Right, it's like airy. It's got that beating air. And I thought maybe I had whipped it too much when I was using the mixer on it, but no. It's amazing. Y'all, I hope you like this spice cake recipe. If you like spice cake, this is a recipe to try. If you've never had spice cake, this is the recipe to try.
Right.
Just putting it there. And if you need a cream cheese frosting recipe to go with this, you can check out my carrot cake recipe, and I'll put that. Try to
Probably
remember
put a
that
link to that in your thing.
Yeah, put a link up there somewhere. Oh man, yeah, this is so good, and amazing. So let's just say I thank you for watching. Hope y'all have a great day. Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all.
Work, Bible.